Missouri's Amendment 3, legalizing abortion, is set to go into effect at midnight. We're still waiting to hear whether a court will pause a state ban before that, though.
WGEM Missouri Capitol Bureau reporter Hannah Falcon breaks down what could come as soon as tomorrow.
Even though Missourians voted to bring abortion back to the state, the laws still stand banning and restricting abortion. Planned Parenthood has filed to overturn those laws, but it will be a lengthy legal process.
The state's trying to delay, distract, and ultimately deny Missourians from accessing abortion care, but Missourians have been heard. Planned Parenthood says it is ready to start offering walk-in abortion appointments tomorrow at 3 Missouri locations, including this one here in Columbia.
The other locations are St. Louis and Kansas City.
Are you kidding me? Walk-in appointments for something that is going to change a person for the rest of their life?
Anti-abortion advocates were outside all 5 Missouri Planned Parenthood locations today. Kathy Ford has long stood against Planned Parenthood and encourages women to seek alternatives to abortion.
It is dangerous, and we are advising women, do not go to these places.
Planned Parenthood Great Plains CEO Emily Wales maintains that the argument is no longer about whether or not abortion is safe, saying that Missourians have already spoken on the matter.
What we have are trained providers and staff. We are ready to provide care. We're experts in doing this. What we don't have are the abilities to overcome state restrictions and hurdles that were intended to deny care.
The Attorney General's office maintains that lifting all the restrictions on abortion providers is too far. They're fighting to keep some, including a 72-hour waiting period after an initial visit, and requiring in-person appointments. Reporting in Jefferson City, I'm Hannah Falcon, WGEM News.